I think it's pretty likely, and it's, again, rather strange. We've seen some teams do it, like in the previous series, you did see a lineup that was really open and really early in the timers. Issue is, once you fall behind, you don't have too much scalability left, so I don't think that's going to be a massive issue for LGD. The Mirana as a core has a lot of room to grow. Their other heroes also do scale nicely, even with just EXP. So there's not too much they're losing out on in this draft. It's rather explosive early on. Like the Tiny, as a response to the DK, is really good magic damage to eat through that armor the DK has. And you already have a lot of control with every single hero here. They have a stun on each hero on LGD's lineup. It's very well balanced in terms of early aggression for them.
Oh, I like the morph coming out from IG now. I mean, if you're going to run this kind of early orientated draft here from LGD, you may as well just secure some late game here for IG. And their draft is looking much more well-rounded, in my opinion, right now. But we have seen a lot of teams experimenting with their drafts, so I'm not going to be too shocked if LGD, they're just trying to suss some things out in this new patch. Trying to figure out what's good and what's not. We'll see a couple more ban outs come out before we can see how they're going to put a lid on these drafts with their final pickups. But it does appear that I don't know what LGD is missing at this point. I'd say they're missing quite a lot, but then again, it's LGD. I can't really doubt them. And IG, it seems to be a position 4 missing, unless it is going to be the pos 4 Park.
Yeah, we've seen Kaka play that a couple of times, so I wouldn't be too surprised if they gave him that, left the emo here for last, as we tend to see from IG. And JT has played the DK off a couple of times as well. So that's, it's not too off standard, too off kilter there for IG compared to LGD. I mean, they've got flexibility for days on LGD's side, and they really do have to play quite quick. Their safe lane pickup will have to kind of tie into that tempo. So you might be looking at a safe laner that just comes online and snap. Once you hit that level 6 mark is probably what you want. Maybe the Luna comes out here before Chalice, just having that option to force out the Eclipse. You can still farm up camps. We saw that same tempo in the last series, so I wouldn't be surprised if LGD tried to play around that kind of safe lane core in this game.
Perhaps. It could definitely be the case.
5 seconds remaining.
Only time will tell. We have one more ban to go before we do get to see what this final hero is for LGD. At least we can both agree that it should be a very entertaining game with these drafts coming out from both teams. Particularly from LGD though. They do get rid of the Shadow Demons. They also seem to believe there is a position 4 missing here for IG. Shadow Demon is now gone, and I wonder how they will close this off.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting what IG opts for. I mean, if it's the pause 4, we have seen IG pull a pause 4 last. With the Phoenix, you might want something that gives you a little bit more team fight presence. Not too much room left. Like the clock would have been nice if it wasn't on LGD already. Shaker was banned out. They do go for the Lycan. All right, so it does look like we are probably seeing the Kaka Puck, which makes enough sense. Again, they've run this a couple of times. The Lycan does give them a lot of tempo here, and the question in my mind is, who's actually going on the safe lane? Like, is it Lycan safe or Lycan mid? We've seen some flexibility on that.
It kind of seems like they're going to be running the offlane DK and perhaps the mid morph and safe lane Lycan. Could also be the offlane Lycan.
Yeah.
We do see that sometimes from JT.
It's really flexible, IG, and it does still have a solid set of it has a solid set of cores. Still LGD, they close out with a Drow, so it's still a very fast pause 1 here for LGD that can play super quick once you have that 6. It's a massive power spike for Chalice. They can try to shove in those objectives. You're still seeing the Venge Drow kind of play in here, and just a lot of auras to buff your range attacks up. I think LGD is looking to outpace IG early on. IG, they have some solutions early. They've got the Lycan, which can really start to melt towers fast, although the Necronomicon changes could hurt that Lycan in terms of how much you can really shove out a wave. You've got the early level 6 timings from the puck and the DK to give you those fights as well. So it's a lot of back and forth from both sides. A lot of this will rest to how much they can get from each lane, because you're looking at both sides wanting to hit that level 6 mark really quick.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. The mid tiny for Somnus, that's very intriguing to me. It's been a while since we've seen Tiny in that core role. I want to say we did see it maybe once or twice within the last month or so, and I don't think it was too amazing the last time we saw it. I mean, it is Somnus. Well, you know, he's just looking to get some kills here, make some space for Chalice, and just try to snowball out of control with the rest of his team while Chalice can just free farm his way to victory.
Yeah, it's an old 11 Venge as well, so it's the core Venge, the support Mirana Clock. Now, that support duo, the pause 5 Clock, not too strange, as we have seen a couple of teams try that. It is just relatively greedy for the entirety of LGD, so again, a lot more emphasis in getting some sort of dominance in the lanes to enable that EXP gain for all of these heroes.
Wait a minute. There's a clockwork cosmetic that gives you a cigar?
Prepare for battle.
Wait, really?
Look at FY. Since when?
Huh.
I mean, I play a lot of Clockwork, John. I would like a cigar as well. I'm not sure if that's one of those things with you know, in the Chinese region where it's kind of exclusive to them, but
Oh, no. I've seen this one. I've just never seen anyone use the second style.
oh,
There are 2 styles to this one. Yeah, so there is a cigar. Interesting.
okay,
I was very confused for a while, but that's pretty neat.
I like it. You know, I think the face could do a bit of work, but the cigar's pretty cool.
Yeah, it really is. I mean,
30
you know, it's
seconds to battle.
I don't think it's economic to be smoking in a suit of armor. Still a bit of aggression bot. There is a huge clump up from IG.
It's not economic to smoke at all, John. It's quite an expensive habit, let me tell you.
That it is.
Old 11, got to be a little bit careful. Flying Kaka are going to just loop around here, but they, of course, can't really get much damage out. FY will take a bit here from Ollie on the puck. And they'll just back off. We are going to see the rotation out from Kaka. He's going to make his way up towards that top lane to try and help out. Or maybe not. He looks like he's going to sit mid for a bit, but ultimately he should meet up with the DK a bit later on. He just wants to come for a quick D ward, and Somnus will lose that Observer ward straight off the bat. It should make Emo feel quite a bit safer here on this Morphling.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a bit of an advantage here up against a Tiny, just having that additional range and really strong right clicks without having to depend on a skill. Does give him a bit more, although Somnus is pretty aggressive.
Well, at this early stage of the game, you got to be kind of careful how much damage you take. The Somnus can burst you down very fast. And that's just with the Avalanche. Once you've got the Avalanche toss-up, Emo, you've got to be really, really cautious about how far you push that Morphling up until you've got a few more levels up in the Agi and Strength Morph. He'll play cautiously for now. Up at that top lane, we'll see JT and Kaka on that DK Phoenix, but X-Nova is going to start moving up on the Clockwork, and he'll go after Kaka on that Phoenix. They know he doesn't have Icarus Dive right now, but FY's the one to get the first blood down a bot lane, and X-Nova does eventually get the kill onto Kaka as well.
Yeah, and it's the lane domination LGD is starting to pump out. There's not much you can do once you're slowed and stunned up by X-Nova. It's just too much damage, even for a DK.
Now they're on to JT. Oh, alright, X-Nova's on a double kill. We're not even 2 minutes into this game, and LGD's already found 3 kills.
Yeah, it's way too much dominance early on. We mentioned LGD's draft being relatively greedy with their supports. You have to consider IG. They're running a POS 5 puck. That needs a lot of EXP to really be effective. So Ollie's not finding quite that impact down bot, and this is going to slow down Fly's farm. He's not having the best of times here up against Old 11 and FY.
I didn't realize it was a position 4 puck, but that could be very problematic. I mean, you already kind of mentioned the XP that you need on that puck, but even before that, you can't do anything in this lane to help out this Lycan. Like, puck's not that amazing at harassing, especially up against that Mirana and Vengeful Spirit combo that they've got down at that bot lane from LGD. And FY is just giving it back to him. In fact, Arrow's going to fly through again. It won't connect. But Ollie is slowly but surely running out of regen. He just brought another set of tangos out, and FY is not done. He's diving him under the tier 1. It's just so much damage coming out of this Mirana.
Yeah, that's really just enabled by the minus armor you're getting on the Venge. So every trade hurts a lot more than it should, and Ollie's just soaking XP. He's just eating through all his tangos and regen. This is not any benefit towards Fly.
And top lane, mid lane, Emo ends up going down. X-Nova made a rotation. And no, he didn't rotate. It was the rocket flare again.
Oh man, that is such a risk you take with this Morphling mid. X-Nova opting to not go for the cogs, and he doesn't even need it because that's slow. Look at that slow from Chalice. It's too much.
It is too much, JT. Oh, they're going to have some damage out on X-Nova, but he's actually tankier than you'd expect. Still, they might get the kill first. Chalice? Oh, he can't follow up here. Kaka with the Fire Spirit slowing him down, though. No, the split shot.
Ooh.
It will be enough, and now Chalice will go after Kaka. He forces out the Icarus dive. Kaka will salve up and just run towards that mid lane where Somnus is making a bit of a chase here into Emo. They both want that power rune, but Somnus, he wants it more. He'll get the double damage, bottle that up. And Emo, this mid lane, it's just getting from bad to worse for him as Somnus continues to find every small advantage he can get.
Yeah, it is starting to get really lopsided here. He even gets a bottle top-up.
Fly just dies bot lane to FY. And it's going to be one of those games, John, where I'm going to have to be really careful about where we're looking with this camera. So the viewers are going to get a bit upset if we miss too many kills, but there's going to be a lot of them. I can tell you that. We're already at 7 kills prior to that 5-minute mark. And X-Nova is going to be back onto Kaka. Not going to be able to set up for a kill, but they'll turn around onto JT now, and JT, who's still at that level 3 mark, just can't really do much. He's just got to take the harass and back off. Just everywhere you look, there's low HP heroes on the side of Invictus Gaming.
Yeah, it's the aggression from LGD's draft. They're making this early dominance really work out. We were questioning just how effective these lanes could be. They're making them really pay here, IG. There's not enough room for them to really breathe, and the biggest issue is going to be Emo on that morph. He's going to have to catch up in that jungle. It's never going to be safe with how aggressive LGD's playing right now.
No, it is not. And this is without Somnus getting involved. He's just been farming that mid lane for most of this time. In fact, all of the time. He hasn't made any rotations yet on the Tiny. He's just trying to secure that level 6 or 7 mark. And you see X-Nova with the rocket flare just trying to snipe Emo again in that mid lane. He's being real cheeky with that, but that is one way to play mind games with Emo. You just keep throwing rocket flare out every time Somnus tells you to, and you never know what you're going to get. They do morph into the Tiny now. With the Icarus dive out from Kaka, they'll make the chase onto Somnus. Nice body blocks there from Kaka as the toss is there as well, but Somnus will survive. FY will TP in, but those Fire Spirits should be enough. Somnus, no, he's not going to die. No, he will. Emo does get the final amount of damage that he needed. So they do get a bit of revenge in that mid lane, but they do not get that haste rune. X-Nova, he does sneak through and take that power rune away from the Morphling. And now we'll just use it against Kaka.
Oh, I think I disconnected.
Oh,
I've got to reconnect.
no
Servers.
problemo. Good old servers. Looks like Fly's actually in the dire jungle now. He's really just gone across the map to farm the jungle. This is one place to farm, I suppose, if you want to kind of just avoid the side of LGD, but When you look at top lane, Kaka, he'll die again on the Phoenix. JT, he has hit level 5 now, so he's feeling a lot safer on that DK, but he's not really able to secure much farm.
Denied.
He's been spamming that Breathe Fire every chance he gets to secure CS, but it's been such a dangerous kind of lane to be in, and he's currently 2 levels behind Chalice on that Drow. And meanwhile, X-Nova is back into the mid lane. Emo morphing his strength and agi very, very quickly, just in case. Looks like X-Nova is going to go back up towards that top lane where he will start battery salting up JT. JT at this point does appear to be much more tanky. Chalice can't really get through the raw armor that JT offers on that DK. However, mid lane, Somnus gets a regen rune for himself. So all this damage you've dealt out to this Tiny is now offset because he can just pop the regen and they'll go back in onto Kaka. Icarus Dive has been cancelled off by the battery assault and they get the kill. And now even Emo. He'll be alright. He'll walk his way out of there. But Somnus just has a regen rune and he is fresh as a daisy. While they're doing all this, Fly's right behind them in the jungle, just farming on that Lycan. It's the only place he feels comfortable.
This is a really tough spot for IG. They've really lost the momentum on those side lanes, and it's 2-8. LGD's just finding a bit too much there, although Chalice.
Wolf form out, yeah, Chalice is going to be in a bit of danger. Dragon Tail was there, X-Nova, oh, the cogs. He does trap in Fly, just trying to buy space for Chalice. But the Icarus Dive was there, and Fly will be able to finish off the kill. And now X-Nova also getting stunned up, but a great avalanche out from Somnus. But X-Nova is definitely dead, and now Somnus. I wonder if he survives on this Tiny. He will. He wasn't really able to help out his POS 1 or his support.
It's a bit of a shame for LGD, and I'm still having connection issues. Let me try to sort it out.
All right. Well, they left Ollie down at that bot lane to just soak XP and get some farm up and maybe transition into a core.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
When I say get some farm up, he is the bottom of the net worth board right now, so it's mostly just XP he's getting, but he is now level 6. And it looks like the play for Ollie is to TP up towards that top lane. He has that Dream Coil up, and they can definitely set up to try and go after Chalice again. And Ollie, yeah, he'll just commit it. With the egg even being dropped, Chalice will try to go after the egg, but he doesn't really attack fast enough. And the stun was there from JT.
Dire's top tower.
With that, they'll slowly start chipping away at that tier 1 tower.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Meanwhile, Fly getting caught there by Somnus, and well, Emo will come in with the avalanche toss. He does get X-Nova, and he might even get Somnus here. And he does. The adaptive strike was going to be enough. They still had the Lycan creeps to control up that Tiny. I mean, that really early game looked quite bad for IG, but as time goes on, they're starting to make themselves look pretty darn good. You've still got the problem of Fly not getting any form of farm on this Lycan. But at least you've got Emo there, who's second in net worth right now. And both teams appear to just trade away those tier 1 towers.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
A little arrow there from FY into Emo, but it's going to lead to nothing. Chalice, I thought he'd had more farm than this, but it turns out he was falling quite behind in net worth as well. It's actually behind Fly on that Lycan. It's Avalanche going to come in with a toss onto Emo, but it's just nowhere near enough damage yet. And this will be a real issue. If you can't get that farm up on Chalice fast enough, Emo may just take over this game.
Radiant are
He hasn't
standing.
quite gone for an item build yet on that Morphling. We're yet to see if he wants to go for the Manta, whether he wants to go for that shotgun build. But he's going to smoke up with the rest of his team. They have Dream Coil back up They also have the egg of Kaka up as well.
Is under attack.
And FY going to get spotted, so they'll jump in with the Dream Coil, and that'll be a very easy pick-off to get. Old Levin tried to TP in there on the Venge. There is going to be a stun out from JT onto Somnus, and now the eggs even drop. Ollie ends up going down to Chalice. Now Emo going to be under siege here from X-Nova. X-Nova might be the one in trouble. He hookshots a creep. Fly in that wolf form trying to chase somebody down, but X-Nova, well, he'll die to Kaka. Kaka will also, he'll be able to walk away. Chalice is the one to fall there from JT, but now Somnus does get a toss off on the Phoenix. And Somnus is going to continue this chase. Avalanche out, connecting on 3. Magic Missile as well. Here comes FY with the Star Storm, but it's not going to be enough yet. The orb is coming in from Ollie. They want to keep going. Question is, who do they actually aim for? It'll be Somnus and the Tiny they want. Somnus is, though, quite a bit tankier than you would hope. And now LGD, they might have a chance to turn this fight around as Chalice is back, and they will take down JT on the DK. And with that, it seems as though they might be ready to try and pressure that mid-tier 1 tower a little bit. Avalanche, going to be there onto Ollie. Somnus, not able to get the toss off yet, but they do pop the drums and start rushing forward. And Emo will stun him up. And LGD, they will be able to secure that mid tower and just back out of there.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Fly has to be a bit careful as well. He's going to lose his creep, so he knows they're around that area. Meanwhile, top lane, Somnus going to get ganked up on the Tiny. Gast coming through from Chalice, but doesn't really land. They'll go after Ollie on the puck. But it's definitely not a great trade for LGD. Ollie will be more than happy to die for that core Tiny kill. And looking back at Emo on that Morphling, it does appear that he's made his decision and he wants to go after that shotgun build. Which makes enough sense, because you won't really have any defensive capability there from Chalice on that Drow Ranger, so he will essentially just be able to burst her down every single time until she has something like a BKB up. Passive the Manta. X-Nova gets spotted out by Emo, and X-Nova, he will hookshot away. Orb is going to be out, and they don't even need it. Kaka, he had plenty of DPS out with the Fire Spirits. That was enough to take down the Clockwork. It's hot lane even. JT gonna find out Chalice. He doesn't really have any help around the area, so Chalice with the Moonlight Shadow will be able to get out. He does force the Drow back, and this makes it that much harder for her to get any form of farm up. He's trying. The rest of LGD are going to continue trying to make space. Getting to that point as well where Fly is going to get very close to having that Necro 3 up. LGD. What's the game plan here? Looks like they're just going to huddle around Chalice for now and just keep him protected. They do have the Crimson Guard up on Old 11 now on that Vengeful Spirit, so they definitely could try and make a team fight happen. It looks like Somnus wants to. He'll go on to JT, but the Dragon's Tail is going to be out though. X-Nova in with the hook shot. JT, he's a tanky man, but he is going to be completely surrounded by the side of LGD. Old 11, the one to pick up that kill on the Venge. IG. Hello, John.
Hello. I think it's fixed. Looks like I stopped dropping half my packets.
Nice.
Does look like LGD's still pretty in control, though. They look to defend mid.
Middle tower has fallen.
It's been a little bit rough for LGD, John. Dreamcoil is going to be out onto FY. He's going to try and just run in circles and avoid Fly. Emo will waveform out of there. Now FY getting very, very low on this Mirana. And no, he's still okay. Fly's still trying to find a way to get this Mirana kill, but he just can't finish it. Eventually the Wolves will get it done, but it will cost him his own life in the process. Now that's an even trade. Or rather, a positive trade for LGD.
A very positive trade for them, just taking out that pause. One, again, continuing to find... Oh!
Yeah, there goes Ollie. Great hook shot out from X-Nova. And while you were gone, they were struggling quite a bit, LGD. For quite a... it's been about 3, 4, maybe 5 minutes of struggle here for this Dire side. But it looks like they are finding their footing, and it just seems to be off the back of Old 11. He started to join these team fights now. He hasn't even found the need to use that Crimson Guard yet.
Yeah, it's going to be big once it's in play. Of course, it's not going to mitigate the shotgun from Emo. So that is something they have to be fully aware of, the timing on that morph. But they are, you know, going to have to work through it. You're going to be a lot more vulnerable on Chalice, for one thing, once you have that up and running. Even JT with a Heaven's Halberd means that Chalice might not be having the best of times and just standing there and applying the right clicks. So there are some key timings here from IG that they're picking up, and they have taken some decent control in the map, like taking that mid-tier 1 and the top tier 1 does give them easier access in that Dire jungle, and they do maintain some decent vision on the further half of it, so that does limit LGD's options to play catch-up here.
LGD going to continue biding their time. Somnus, he's hasn't had as much impact as you would have hoped out of this mid Tiny, and that's kind of something that really goes back to the hero itself. It just seems to drop off so quick. Like, you can go for this blink initiation kind of build that we're used to seeing, but the Avalanche toss, I mean, it's strong, but once you hit the mid game, it's not that strong.
Yeah, it certainly does taper off. The one thing though is Tiny is probably one of those heroes that really benefits from the Silver Edge changes. So, looking at Somnus going for that route, he's gonna have a second power spike once that's up, and the emphasis will be more on the right clicks, slowly but surely, for this Tiny.
Well, that is true, actually. The Silver Edge could make all the difference. You definitely want that up against heroes like JT, and they're going to jump in. They do get Somnus with that Avalanche out from Emo, and now the shotgun, but it's not going to be enough. Dreamcoil committed as well. They are rushing Somnus. Meanwhile, in the backlines, JT is being controlled up, but the egg out from Kaka is causing problems. Emo, he does get FY. Ollie does go down, but Somnus does also go down to the Tiny, and now X-Nova will be the third one to die on the side of LGD, and Emo will just continue rushing in after Old 11 now. The only man left on this Dire side, and he is definitely going to die. Emo does get a triple kill now on that morph, and it appears it's time for Roshan.
It's going to be a really straightforward take for IG. They've got everything they could want from that fight, and if they do need sustain, they've got the Sunray to play with as well, so no potential steals from LGD, and there is the clock, but there's a long cooldown on that hookshot left.
That there is. So Aegis will go to the way of Emo. He'll be going straight after a BKB next, and I was briefly discussing the issues of the Drow Ranger silence on Emo on that Morphling, but once you have the BKB up, suddenly this Tiny's not a problem, the Drow's not really a problem. Your problems become very limited for Emo. In LGD, they're still kind of yet to find their footing properly in this game.
It's is a cause of concern. They're going to need to try to get themselves some more space, especially in that Drow to Crow. It's just not enough with just the Yasha and the Shadow Blade. You really do need a lot more, considering the fact that there's the Necro tree up and running on Fly. You're not getting evasion with just that item anymore.
Top lane, Tier 2 tower going to be forced down.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under
Glyph is there, but IG understand that they can just take this no matter what. Bot lane, it will be forced down as well though, so LGD are going to get somewhat of a trade.
Dire's top tower
Emo is going to be there to try and deny this tower off and at least get the gold away from LGD. They pop the Moonlight Shadow and they look to go on this Morphling. In fact, Avalanche Toss is there to start off and the arrow, but no, it's not going to make it in time. They're still going to continue chasing. Swap is going to be there onto Ollie and yeah, he might die in the park. But you got your Morphling out of there. And you look at that top lane, the tier 3 was being forced in by Fly.
Yeah, it's still a stronger trade for IG. They're just taking control on a part of the map where LGD really needs to be able to play. They want to be able to farm their own jungle side, and they just can't. So they're forced to play here on the bot area, and it's really not too safe. They do have decent wards here, but it's very far from any of their own TP points, and that does mean they do have to constantly stay clumped up in this bot jungle.
We're going to continue trying onto Emo. Arrow is actually going to land very nicely onto that Phoenix, so that should be Karkar dead, but now Emo going after Somnus. Almost gets the kill, but Emo is falling very, very low. That Crimson Guard keeping Somnus alive. Tree Throw will not be enough. Emo, he is still going for this. And here comes Fly on that Lycan, but Somnus, he does blink away. But Old 11 may not be so lucky. Makes the TP play, but Emo will cancel it. So even then, like, you got the pos for Phoenix, but you lose the position 3 Venge. And all the while, there is still a lot of farm being built up on the side of IG.
The Aegis was popped with a flare. X-Nova again. On point. You can't shuffle your HP like that, Emo. It's happened too many times. Well, once. It's happened once, and that should be enough to put you on edge on the Morphling, but X-Nova?
But where
really
did it
disciplined
happen?
with those flares.
Where
Right
did
at the base. At
Well,
the racks.
You wouldn't really expect it though, would you? Like, I'm in my base now, they shouldn't have any vision. And X-Nova's just casually going to throw a rocket flare out and see if he gets lucky, and he does. I guess you don't know until you try, so good on you, X-Nova.
Yeah, and that's a pretty big win for LGD. Like, that makes it a bit harder for Emo to be up in front. They should temper out any high ground attempt until they start taking those other outer towers. So it's just time to farm up now on the side of IG. They're looking to go for the BKB onto JT. That's going to help them maintain a forward presence and defend that top.
Dust. Oh, they did catch out X-Nova. He's just going to hookshot away though, and just the immediate TP play.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
So just denying any form of kills there for IG. But IG are definitely still just in control of this game at the moment. You're still waiting on so much farm from this Drow before she becomes a real powerhouse. But perhaps once that Eye of Skadi's up, you might have enough to deal with the Morphling. So that Eye of Skadi will be a direct counter to the strength morph of that Morphling. That could be a big issue here for Emo.
Yeah, that's going to mitigate a lot of that durability you're getting from the morph. Although they have to be worried a bit. JT, he's going to be feeling very confident with that 10-second charge on a BKB. Just going to be standing in front and setting the pace. They do smoke up.
They do. They're going to loop around through that triangle, but FY will break the smoke of JT. LGD are very well aware that something is wrong here. Now, Ollie is going to jump in with the Dream Call on FY. Yules is going to be there as well, and he's definitely going to die. But it will allow the rest of his team to just get out of there. And this shouldn't really be enough for IG to feel confident to go after that tier 2 mid yet. They might just want to hold back a bit longer, or maybe not. JT is still moving his way there. But LGD are somewhat set up to try and fight. Still, Fly is going to scout out the back lines and does get Old 11. And Old 11 is just surrounded by units. Chalice going to throw the Gust out, but it may not be enough. Do they have any form of damage on this round? Fly, he takes nothing. Now X-Nova hook shots in, but he doesn't really connect on the Lycan. So Fly just going to run out of there. Egg was committed. X-Nova will be able to run out of the egg range. And FY is back up.
Dire's
They're not quite able to punish, but they do get everyone out successfully.
Yeah, it's a decent movement from LGD, and while all of that's happening, their creep wave bot is naturally shoving in with a siege creep. So there's some decent chip on that tier 3, and it's LGD's turn to smoke up and counterfight.
Let's see if they can find anybody. In fact, JT's going to run straight into them. And they have plenty of control for the DK. It's a very valuable pickup for the side of LGD. And that actually evens out the net worth. It was just about 3k the way of IG, but not so much anymore. Somnus has really focused on farming for quite a bit now and does have the BKB up with the Echo Saber. There's a lot more to be afraid about here if you're IG. Old 11, just going to go in, straight onto Kaka with Somnus jumping in with the Avalanche Toss. They get one. Now Ollie falling very low and Emo. Waveform out of there. Somnus pops the BKB. He wants to dive for this. But he thinks better of it. They'll get the tier 2 mid tower and suddenly LGD could possibly be knocking on the high ground towers. But they won't push it too far. They're going to back off.
Yeah, that's the smarter play for them. You know, they're not too far ahead. There is still a big chance for IG to find control in those fights. They've got the egg up in 9 seconds. They've got the dream coil up in half a minute. That's just so much more control IG has in the high ground than LGD would. So, gonna just measure it out, keep farming up. You're seeing Fly do the same thing on his Lycan, trying to work towards that AC. Once that's up, you can kind of cop a little bit more of the damage that LGD is pumping out and try to get a little bit more out from your own heroes. A big timer here for IG will be that Ags on JT. Black Dragon is going to be important for further aggression and even push on that DK. So they're probably just going to want to wait that out, although top.
Yeah, Somnus is in trouble. He'll be chased down by Fly, and JT comes in now with the Dragon Tail, though BKB was up. So Somnus still going to try and make a run for it. He does not have a TP, however. Moonlight Shadow not going to protect him either. They have the Necro 3 up. And that'll be a huge kill coming out for IG.
Yeah, that was a 9-second charge expended to run away as well. And this gives IG really good forward positioning. They could opt to try to force a high ground issue if they wanted. It looks like they're just going to play it cautiously as well and slowly maintain control in that jungle, just clear out the camps, and wait for those key item pickups first.
IG gonna go on to FY. No, JT doesn't want to go for the stun. He'll just leave him be. They do have Fly currently just focusing on defending that bottom tier 3 tower, so it looks like they're not quite interested in going for another team fight here for this Radiant side. However, Fly will actually lose his courier. It had the AC recipe on it.
Yeah, that's a pretty big loss, as he was very close to having the gold for the plate mail as well. So just delaying that item pickup for our Lycan by 3 minutes is going to hurt a lot. That does mean that IG maybe play a bit more cautiously for a bit longer period. You're still seeing JT save up for the Ags himself, and you look at Emo, he's saving up for his own Scotty and trying to counteract the sustain that LGD also is starting to pump out. So a bit of a back and forth there. You maintain control over Roche, and when that's up in a minute, that's going to be where both LGD and IG should look to set their eyes on.
I found it quite intriguing that the Chalice decided he didn't want that Ive Scotty and instead decided to go after the Silver Edge now on that Drow. And apparently Old 11 has a full MKB up now on that Venge. I mean, this man has been farming non-stop. He's now up at that MKB. They're going to smoke up. And there's going to be a counter smoke from IG straight away. They run straight into each other, but the Moonlight, it was a bit too late still. Hook shot, not going to land either. But Somnus does get Ollie. He'll buy back on the puck. Now X-Nova does fall low and goes down to Fly. And IG, they're just chasing Somnus down. Both sides having buybacks coming out. And, well, IG look like they're done, but Somnus is not. He jumps in onto Fly and does get the Lycan. Nice dream call out from Ollie. They can try and turn here in Emo. He does blow up FY, but there goes Karkon the Phoenix. Now Chalice falling very, very low, but X-Nova will save the day with the Cogs pushback. And now JT, he's been picked off as well. Ollie trying to finish off Chalice, does get the kill, but this will be a dieback on the puck. And Somnus will get a triple.
Oh man, just like that, you see LGD suddenly pull ahead with a 7k lead. They did have to trade away their Drow for that, but they do manage to win out in the end. They forced the buybacks out. They found the dieback on that puck, and that allows them to get some siege going. You still have damage with Old 11. You've got a lot of damage on Somnus. They get to chip away at this tier 3.
Why not? And with this Tiny, they can do it real quick. He is holding a Hyperstone, so he really doesn't attack that slow, especially once that Echo Saber is back up. And well, how the tables turn so quick. You know, about 10 minutes ago, I would have said IG are just way too far ahead. Just based off their draft as well, but not quite. Is not the case. LGD are looking really good now.
Yeah, and because they won out in that last fight, because they forced more buybacks, once you have Chalice back up, you can go straight to the Roche Pit. You've got a nice forward board in that triangle to get control of that objective, and that's going to be a very important one for both sides. IG, they can't allow that Roche to go for free, but LGD, they're going to make it really hard to step in there once they are ready to commit.
IG, got to figure out some kind of game plan now. You do have that AC now completed up on Fly. It's going to be a Moonlight Shadow popped here from the side of LGD, and they could go for a smoke, rather a Roshan play, but I think it's some D wards out. Chalice does have the Silver Edge up now on the Drow. IG, they do get scattered out by that Rocket Flare. And both teams are very well aware of that Roshan being up. It's just a matter of finding the advantageous kind of team fight for themselves. And there is going to be a smoke. LGD, they say screw the Moonlight Shadow. Let's do it the old-fashioned way. And Rocket Flare again on target from X-Nova. They do spot out JT. Smoke not being broken, but now it is. They go straight onto Ollie. That'll be the dieback on the puck. Now JT being slowed up, and that is a lot of damage out from Chalice. The swap in as well from Old 11. And someone didn't communicate to X-Nova even hooking in.
It's still worthwhile in the end. They're trying to find more stragglers. Emo?
Yeah, he's been caught out. He's got that BKB to save him, but the physical damage that's being pumped out here from LGD is just so high. He'll be able to waveform out of there, but now the Roshan is almost guaranteed to go to the way of LGD.
Yeah, I mean, they can try for a Phoenix play with Kaka. They are still around the area, but it's not very safe for Fly alone. They're going to need some backup here if they're going to contest.
Well, X-Nova's going to scout out the high ground. Fly going to pop the wolf form and will just run away. Somnus will clear out all the units. While that's happening, Chalice will just slowly but surely take the Roshan, and Somnus will come in and give him a helping hand now on that Tiny. But they've got a 14k net worth lead. And at this point, you're at that point now where that Drow just hits so much harder.
Ollie stole the cheese.
Nice, Ollie.
They left it hanging. They were swapping around items. I think for a while, Chalice did grab it. He placed it back down. So that's an objective that IG kind of salvages out. That's going to be really useful on, say, Emo. That's not actually something minor. That's a pretty big take for IG.
Oh, Emo almost ends up killing himself there with that blade mail. Hook shot from X-Nova. But the Ancients were in the way. And LGD, they'll just continue trying to control up this map.
Yeah, they've still got a massive net worth lead. They're still slowly farming up. Somnus does find Fly. Can't really chase through, can he?
Oh, there's a TP, but does he see him? No, not in time. They know he's there. Well, he was there somewhere, but they know he's gone now. They still get all his units again.
Yeah, it's one of those things when you have a very heavy focus on the summons. When you don't manage to bail them out, you're bleeding a lot of gold away to LGD. So they maintain that 16k lead. They're clumping up top. Look to take that tier 2 top and take the last piece of outer control away from IG.
Nobody's going to be here to defend either. So LGD will be able to take this one for free. Of course, they'll go in and start securing some tier 4 items for themselves. That's exactly what IG are doing as well. They just smoked all the way to that dire side triangle and just trying to avoid LGD and just get some tier 4 items up and hope that they get lucky. But now you've got to defend this high ground. And LGD, they know how far ahead they are. Now tier 3 just doesn't last long at all. They're going to jump in. JT with the stun out onto Chalice, but he's alright for now. The Dream Coil was there as well, but it doesn't really do too much. In LGD, alright, we turn back around. You didn't really lose anything.
Oh,
Stun again. JT, BKB's up. Emo jumps in. They all jump in. All the BKBs are out. Nobody's dead quite yet, but the chase is on after that fly Lycan, and they do get the kill at the cost of X-Nova's Clockwork. Another great trade for LGD. And while you have a buyback available on Fly, I don't believe there's much of a point in committing it, because he doesn't really have the Wolf Form.
no, he just can't stand up and fight without it. And oh,
Somnus going straight after Kaka, almost taking down that Phoenix. Emo jumping in, but he gets broken, and now JT does end up going down. Emo will continue moving forward. The buybacks are flying out now from the side of IG, but are they going to be enough? Old 11 may go down. Emo with the chase. The Dream Call out as well. They are going to be able to take down Chalice's Aegis. And they'll probably get the hero to boot, because nobody's stuck around, but he is going to BKB TB out, and he will not make it. He was rather close, but not close enough. And so the buybacks do end up paying off. And they still lost the melee barracks up at that top lane, but they got a couple kills out of it. It's not too bad.
yeah, it's still pretty worthwhile. They hold on to the range rack, so the lane's not going to be shoved in as hard, although it's still a pretty big objective to lose. And LGD, they maintain that 21k lead. IG, they set their sights down mid. They can melt that tower pretty quickly. Just find a trade for themselves.
They should be able to. At least the tier 2. Of course, you want to try and force the buybacks out from LGD. That's exactly what IG intend to do now. Moonlight is going to be popped from FY. It's all about delaying this, but JT gets tossed back into the tier 4s, and the cogs are out from X-Nova. So JT, well, he does get out of there, but the chase is on. FY does end up killing off Kaka. Now JT also goes down to this Mirana. In fact, FY is not done. He gets a Yules off on Ori, and that puck is gone. They call it. They say GG.
Ooh.
They had a great start to the game, but LGD, they just kept their composure and eventually brought it back.
Yeah, LGD, they just had such great patience to hold out against the tide that IG was bringing. They knew that if they took the game long enough, they had all the answers up against the lineup of IG. And IG, it was really down to a couple of bad trades. They needed to wait out for the Ags and JT. That was really necessary for the DK to get that second presence in this late game, and just never managed to finish that item up.
Well, with that, of course, we are going to be going into game number 2 very, very soon. It is MLP Dota and johnxfire, and should be about 10 minutes roughly for that second game. We'll see you very soon.